Good afternoon.
Thank you. How are you? When you went back and watched the Ravens game, what were the biggest things that stuck out to you?
Yeah, I think you got to look at it. Obviously, wasn't a good game by any stretch of the imagination, but you got to look at each play individually, and then kind of go from there. And so, one of the key things that we always talk about is third downs. And if you look at all 12 or 11, I think it was 12 of them, all 12 of the third downs, right? You look at, the first one, great play call. They went cover zero. Got the ball out. Jackson just bobbles it. That's a human error. Things like that happen. Ball gets tipped on the second one. A couple things happen. On the third and fourth one where, like I say all the time, if we execute better, just the small things, then we're talking about conversions and not failed attempts. And so, just looking at each one of those plays individually, I just feel like we all, had a part in it, and we all could have done a lot better. And so, overall, we're working to fix those things. That's an issue that's been hurting us all year. But we got a lot more games to play, so that's the positive part about it. Is we got a lot more chances to go out there and really improve on it.
In that regard, do you feel like the process on third down is generally okay?
Yeah, and that's what I was speaking on. I think our process. We always say process over results, and I think our process is really where it should be. I think the execution is where too many times we've just kind of fell short.
They got their hands on a few passes, which we don't always see. Was there something? Was that just one of those things, or was there some reason why they were able to do that?
Yeah, we would just say that unfortunately, it was one of those days where they just batted a few passes, and obviously there's things that we can do to kind of stop that from happening. But it was just one of those games. I don't think that's something that we've really dealt with a lot. But you got to give your hats off to them. They made the plays that they needed to, and like I said, man, it was tough. In that moment, it was tough. But the good thing is that we had to move on, and we had to tell the truth Monday, where we we talked about all those things, and then now we're into a new week, so we're just focusing on the Commanders this week.
The run game hasn't been where you want it to be at, but in what ways do Walker and do Charbonnet and that group still affect the game or have the threat?
Yeah, those two guys and DJ and Kenny when he gets his shot and whoever else we put in there. Those but when you talk about Zach and Ken, two dynamic runners, two guys that we've got to continue to get them the ball. They're big time threats out there on the field. We see it each and every week what they can do with the ball in their hands, and so just getting them more touches. Obviously, got to convert on third down to keep drives alive so that you can do that. But when they have the ball, they're special.
What can Kenny McIntosh in particular do for you guys if he's up and playing this week?
Kenny's looked really good from my vantage point in practice. He's running fast. He's been on top of his assignments. I know Chad's really coaching him hard on just all the protection stuff and, his how to run the ball and, how to do different things with the mid zone and some of the things that we're incorporating. So I think Kenny's been really good, and I'm really, looking forward to what he can do. I think he can bring a lot to the table, but, he's got to go out there and do it.
Prior to the trades Washington made, there was a lot of focus on their rushers, right? Sweat and Young. But what does the interior of their D-line do well?
Yeah, they two of the best guys in the league when you talk about Darren Payne and then you talk about Allen. Two of the best guys in the league in the interior. They're very stout up front. They can play the run and get after the passer. And so we trust our guys up front as well. I like our guards and our centers and really our entire O-line. So we're trusting our guys to go out there and do what they've always done, which is hold up in protection and allow me and whoever's back there to get the ball out.
Mentioned your center. What kind of job has Evan done this year with all the changes around him? I think you guys have used like 7 different offensive line combinations.
Yeah.
Just the role he's had in holding that all together.
Yeah, Evans, he's done a great job. He's even played guard for us in one game. So you can look at him as one of the guys who's really been an anchor up front. I think Evan Brown is a really, really good player, and I think, he adds a lot to this offense, with not only his smarts but his ability to just play center and to be able to help the guards and to help the tackles and communication and overall leadership as well. So, really pleased with Evan and the way he's been playing and, really looking forward to, just continuing to grow with him as the season goes along.
Geno, we're halfway through the year now for you guys. How would you kind of describe what your offense is halfway through the year? What you've learned about it through the first 9 games, 9 weeks, and all of that?
Yeah, I would say, a multiple offense. I would say a lot of dynamic playmakers. I would say, very, very good in the clutch situations. We've been really good, aside from probably one game, with getting touchdowns in the 2 minute and obviously late in the game. And then I would say a little inconsistent. I would say that's something we can improve on. If we can clean up on our inconsistencies, then I think we can be even better. But for the most part, man, we know what we have as far as talent. We know we have the coaches. We know the work we're putting in and how much effort every guy spends into, making this offense really good. And the key thing for us is to continue to believe, trust in one another, trust in the preparation, and then once the game comes, go out there and execute and be who we are.
The splits with the passing game this season have been pretty, different with non-play action versus play action. What do you make of how much more successful it's been with play action?
I think circumstantial. I think we're all good at, we've always been pretty good at play action in the naked and boot game. I think that's something we've carried over from last season to this one. A little surprising with the drop back stuff, but there are factors to it, and so we've got to be mindful of those. Again, I like to look at each play individually. I don't like to group things. I think you got to look at it, one at a time because that's how the game's played. And there's things on each one of those dropbacks that I can do better, some other guys can do better. And so that's how we look at it. Obviously the play action has been really good, so we want to continue to do that. But we also want to improve in the dropback and the quick game as well.
You have a successful play action game, like without, quote unquote, establishing the run in a game first?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't tell you that I've seen it, but, I know with our team, our style, we want to run the ball. And I think that's the reason why we are really good at play action is because we do establish the run and we do have that mindset that we want to get our backs involved in the running game and in the passing game. And so I don't know if you can or you can't. I think that's a good question. But, I know we want to be balanced at all times.
Is running more simply converting third downs to get the chance to run more?
I would say so. I think the more you convert on third downs, the more opportunities you get, the more plays you get in the game, the more you can own the time of possession. And, obviously that, you get more runs. Yeah, of course. So I would say just the more you convert, the more plays you get.
Your coaches have said we need to help Geno and we need to help you. What does that look like? What would help look like to you?
I think all 11 just playing together, executing, each man doing his job to the best of his ability, winning his matchup. And then, me going out there and being myself.
Geno, in terms of pressure, in terms of dealing with pressure, maybe last week and then maybe in the Cincinnati game, is the issue, is it pre-snap stuff? Is it communication between the linemen? Or is it maybe the one-on-one battles? Is it just all that stuff that when it breaks down?
I think the issue is just overall execution. I don't think you can look at one thing or the other and say it's that. I think it's just overall getting the job done. Whether or not it's, one of the things that you mentioned, it doesn't really matter. It's about getting the job done and going out there and executing on third downs and making sure we pick up those first downs so that we can continue those drives and score points.
I know Pete said that being able to rotate offensive linemen in and out is a good thing, but also for you, it creates a different kind of challenge to communicate. How much does that really take an effect in game when you have these different guys rotating in each different game?
Yeah, I think you can look at it, the way that it's been, man. We got guys who've stepped up and played really good. We're a 5-3 team. We got a lot in front of us, a lot to look forward to. And some people might try to look at it as a negative. I look at it as a positive. Not many teams can do that, can shuffle the line and still be able to get these wins. And so, I think for us, man, we can't look at it and look at it as a big challenge. It's just what we have to do. And sometimes that's how it is. And, we just got to get the job done no matter what.
And you've also played two, maybe the best defensive fronts in the NFL the last 2 weeks. How much of a difference do you see with those two teams compared to the teams before, just because they are lauded as one of the best?
I honestly think they're all talented. Like I say every week, I don't look at one or the other and say, I know the numbers might say one's better than the other, but, it's the league. Everybody's got talented players. It's hard, for guys up front. Think about, the matchups, right? The guys they're blocking are usually more athletic than them. You got DNs now running 4.4s and 4.3s. So, it's just there's a lot of really good players on that side of the ball. And we played against two really good schemes the past 2 weeks. But I thought, against the Browns, we held our own. Obviously didn't do much against the Ravens. And so, but, like I said, man, that's the NFL. We're going to face more really talented defenses, down the line. So we got to be prepared for each matchup. And, I know our guys aren't shying away from it. We look forward to it.
You guys only turned the ball over once in your first 4 games. How important as an offense is it to get back to that where the you're taking care of the ball?
Yeah, we got to fix that. I got to fix it. It starts with me. I got to fix it. Can't have any more turnovers. Can't have any more of those plays that put our defense in tough positions. And so I look forward to it, man. I look forward to it. I think that's something that I know that I can fix and I can correct. And so, these are only opportunities for me to continue to grow and to learn. And so I look forward to the next opportunity to really show that I can, get those things corrected.
Have the process, when looking back at the process of some of the turnovers, is there anything that you've identified, like if I cut this, it'll be better?
I think just trying too hard, pressing, trying to make plays sometimes when they aren't there. I've always been competitive. I always think that every play should work, and I hate giving up on a play, but, hey, sometimes you have to. And so throwing the ball away is not a bad thing. Punting the ball is not a bad thing. And so just being smarter in that regard. But overall, just correcting it however it needs to be done.
Just Coach Carroll emphasize that this week.
He does it every week, man. That's what we talk about every single week, all about the ball, central theme of the program. And that's, obviously a big factor in wins and losses. And so we emphasize it all week, every week. But this week in particular and moving forward throughout the rest of the season, it's going to be, huge for us. So we, on the offensive side of the ball, want to get those things corrected. Our defense is doing a great job at creating turnovers. Now, if we can play complementary football and not give the ball away, I think, things will be a lot better.
To you about not trying too hard, how much is he emphasizing that?
He really doesn't talk to me much about that. It's really just not turning the ball over. You want players to try hard and to give it their all at all times. I don't think that's a negative. I think it's just about, being smarter with the football.
Anything else?
Thank you, guys.